that you have to remain competitive while there are so many market powers that are outside your control?
Shall I ask Terence and Rinke to answer this question? Terence, you want to go first?
Okay.
Thank you for your question.
You mentioned China, and China certainly is a big vacuum cleaner that sucks up a lot of investments and I guess flows. But as much as we think about China as a competitor, think of them also as a resource and as a partner. The good thing, I guess, about Singapore, and this is not about us playing down ourselves, but Singapore is a small country. We don't have the capacity to absorb everything, every opportunity that is out there. Which means that we can afford to be choosy. And if we pick the right activities, the right investments, we continue to have a good play, and we can generate good growth while the whole region wins. If I use a financial analogy, think of Singapore as an index stock. You have an index stock that represents the global stock market, but as an index stock, you have finite resources. So what do you pick? And we are just, as an economy, we are changing the funds that we put within what we invest in, and we hope that by picking the right investments, we can outperform the market, even though it's an index stock that tracks the market. So that's our view. China, in fact, is a competitor, but it is also an opportunity.
Quick follow-up by JD.
Just a quick word. I think the answer to your question lies in your question itself. Netherlands and Singapore, because they are small, also makes them naturally agile, naturally tuned, and they are able to adapt the most profitable and the most convenient thing much faster than maybe a China or even for that matter India can. This is the biggest advantage they have, their nimbleness, and of course the populations.
Thank you, JD. Rinke, there are many Chinese investors here in this city and in this province.
Yeah.
What's your answer to the question of?
Well, I think JD gave part of the answer. I think because we're small as a nation, we can move much faster, and our central location in Europe is such a big advantage. What you see here outside is the biggest port of Germany. It's the biggest port of Europe. It's also the largest port of Germany. And because we're all in the European Union, and despite everything that's going on around Brexit, the European Union on the continent is still very tight, and especially in the northwestern part of the European Union. The cooperation is perfect. The only thing is, and Jeroen knows it perfectly well also from his responsibility for the Netherlands Foreign Investment Agency, we have to sell our country harder. You know, there's sometimes an image of the Netherlands is tomatoes, wooden shoes, etc. But we are number 5 on the World Competitiveness Index. We're number 2 on the World Innovation Index. We are one of the biggest countries in the European Union when it comes to the high-tech industry. But we have to sell it harder.